Welcome to the Bad Tutors Podcast. If you're here for the newest, up-to-date, and accurate information on the nerdy topics that are near and dear to your heart, well, let me tell you, you ended up in the wrong place. Here, we are all about hot takes and grandiose displays of misinformation. So stick along for the long ride, and you might just blow a blood vessel or two. So Tyler, we know that I like to set little whimsical goals for myself and have them spiral into something way bigger than I think they are going to be, and this is the culmination of that. This is truly the fuck around and find out of me assigning myself tasks. Because
I know that. I don't know if many people know that, but yes, this is true.
That is a true statement. Yes. Without saying what we're going to be getting into first, as I've said, I'm going to be talking about an SCP story. And you know, a lot of them that we've read and that I've told you about have been probably a couple thousand words here and there. Some of them a little longer, some of them a little shorter, depending on how deeply you want to dig into them, how many stories are written about them. This one was not that. This one, I was about halfway through reading it and went, wow, this is really long. What's the average amount of words in a novel? And depending on the type of novel, of course, there's a wide range here. The average is about 70,000 to about 120,000 for your average fantasy novel is just the immediate Google definition that it gave me. Young adult is between 50,000 to 70,000. That's like a range we're working with here, right?
Right.
For reference, the one that I was going to when I was kind of trying to contextualize this more in my head, a very famous book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That is around, I don't have the exact number in front of me, 76,000 words, just over, I believe. Not too much higher than that, though. The story that I have read is over 80,000, and there isn't an exact number on it. So I assigned myself a novel, and I didn't realize that. I had listened to this story, abridged versions of this story, I've since found out, a couple times. The videos are around an hour long when they cover it. So I did not expect the length of this, but I couldn't be happier with it. This story, this book, I'm just going to call it a book, is fantastic. I absolutely loved it. This is going to be more of a book report and just a retelling of the story than our kind of normal format. I think, because I'm not going to be able to. I'd love to be able to really do this justice. I simply won't be able to. I encourage anyone that enjoys SCP, even if it's just like the little bit you've heard us talk about, go read this. It's really fucking good. It's a story within the SCP universe, obviously, but like it's just a good book. I feel like I don't do a lot of reading, like hard reading anymore, but
right,
this is well worth it. This took me like I thought I was gonna be able to like knock it out in like a day and a half or so. It took me the better part of like the week to read it, pretty much.
Right.
And I'm very excited to get into it.
So if you're anything like me and you have a whole stack of books that you've been meaning to get around to reading,
which is like me as well,
that entire stack, fuck that stack, go read this SCP.
Yeah, I started reading Dune, and then I went, oh fuck, right, I have to do this, and I haven't really thought about Dune since. And I'm Dune pilled as a motherfucker. That episode's coming.
Don't say Dune pilled. Don't say that.
I refuse to not say Dune pilled.
You can't just be pilled everything.
Sure, I can. But without further ado, we are going to break down SCP-001, the Ouroboros Cycle Proposal, written by DJKAKTUS. We start in part 1, the children. So, this is based around the first, so I'm going to lay this out a little bit first. The first 3 of 4 parts are as we would think of as a standard SCP proposal as we have tackled them in the past. Part 4 is the real story of it. I'd say that part 4 is 3/4 of the word count, more than likely, around there, where the first 3 are just what we would think of as a classic SCP proposal. It opens with input level 5 primary credentials going through. There are multiple points saying mimetic kill agents neutralized, as in whatever you would see on here, if you do not have level 5 clearance, which would be the O5 Council and above, just simply seeing this information would kill you. That is the level that we are working on when we're talking about this.
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah. So, the children is based around item 001. This is placed in San Marcos de la Vida Interna Church in San Marcos, Mexico. The first couple of these are going to take place in Mexico, as a matter of fact. And this whole outline is regarding building a weapon. This is in the early days of the Foundation, before we have what would be clearly defined as the O5 Council, although there are mentions of O51 Project Lead, many people like this, but it is not the same O5 Council in the way that we think of it today. A lot of notes are coming from Foundation Administrator Frederick Williams, which, as I said, when we outlined the O5 Council, the administrator is a very fluid concept, I'll say. We didn't go much into it, and that was slightly on lack of information and slightly on purpose on my part. And as we go through this, we hear a lot about Frederick Williams, what would be assumed to be the first administrator. We go through these project details as they are trying to create a weapon to stop the Kingdom of Abaddon. This is a group of highly potent, reality-bending entities that are assumed to be human enough, but have control over reality and must be stopped at absolutely all costs. So with this, one of the overseers, 0513, the head of the occult research for the Foundation at the time, works to channel just occult energy through a person to make a weapon. And they go through, let me see, I believe, and I quote, I don't quote, but just like truly too many bodies to even kind of realize. Like, the interesting thing going throughout these, we've talked about the Foundation and how they're kind of a cold, heartless group that is ends justify the means and nothing else. That is, there are things to be secured, contained in protecting the public. That is the whole point. It is an unfeeling entity that simply does its job and nothing else.
Right.
Much of this story challenges that. And that's kind of why I love it so much. We hear in here, there is a quote from Administrator Williams. "God knows enough blood has been shed on our behalf. I do not wish to spill any more." Now, where we might say that for an entity, you don't see it a lot in Foundation documentation. They kind of don't care to a degree, maybe rightfully so. If the cost of 1,000 lives is going to save millions, they can often see that is beneficial. But even here, in the early days of the Foundation, we see concern over many of these things. And it's very interesting to kind of see that unfold. Now, this weapon was not any conventional weapon. After killing hundreds, possibly thousands of people, they saw no success. And eventually, one of them said, well, what if we split this power that is just genuinely shredding people and completely tearing them into absolute nothing? What if we split it between multiple people? And with that, they didn't like it, but they agreed. And they, raided the town of San Marcos for all of its people and killed the ones that wouldn't work for the project, leaving it completely destroyed. Like classic Foundation stuff. We're rolling past that because it's kind of a small point in the scheme of this, which is, disgusting.
Oh, sure.
It's a fake story, but like it's very good. So what happens is they take children, 8 children, and cut into their brains and basically strip them of everything they are as a person to be able to channel this raw amount of power and energy through all of them. And this time it works. We see testing logs of numerous tests going through. Let me scroll through and find one here. Test series 023, item 001, researcher Omega 5. Omega 5 is the O5 Council. It is the progenitor of the O5 Council. And we read testing goal. Establish outer limit for item 001's area of effect. Round 1. Target object, steel rod, placed 5 kilometers from object 001. Or item 001. Item 001 instructed by Dr. Redacted, O5 team leader, to destroy target object. Results. Target object vaporized shortly after item 001 received the orders to do so. No quantifiable amount of target object remained post-test. Item 001 is obviously this weapon that is just 8 children completely bound together by an unimaginable force of energy. And we continue to see these tests. And as we're getting these tests, we're seeing letters back and forth from the administrator and the Omega 5 Council basically saying, hey, fucking cool it. Like, I know this is what you want and this is the goal, but you all need to pull back. This is too much. Yeah. This is too much even for us. And eventually, they decide through enough testing, we believe that this can stop the kingdom of Abaddon, completely put an end to it. As they scaled up and, of course, did larger and larger things, they were able to just vaporize a human almost 12,000 kilometers away from the object. And this continues with different tests. And eventually, we get there, and O5-1 is there with the rest of the council, as well as the administrator. Right before this, here, actually, I'm going to go back a tiny bit, and I'm going to read a letter that we receive from Administrator Williams, and then the response from Omega 5 team lead. Starting with the administrator. I've heard good news of your success with Project 001. I cannot express how important this is. We will finally be able to put an end to Abaddon, to be able to better protect ourselves in the future. To this end, I am eternally grateful. However, I must admit my concerns about you specifically, O5-1. Your recent letters have been troubling, in spite of your success. I have no doubt that you are the most qualified man to lead the Omega team, but I understand if the stress of this endeavor has taken a toll on you. I know it has with me. Regardless, once this is all over, I'm prepared to promote you to the director of the newly constructed Site-19. After you've taken some time to recuperate, of course. We can discuss the details when I see you next month, once we've taken care of Abaddon. Sincerely, Administrator Williams. And the response to this from 051 is simply, I am fine, Administrator. The project is finished. We will complete our task when you arrive. From here, everyone arrives at this site where they have assembled these children into an absolute fucking weapon. Absolute weapon, not in terms of internet culture, but in terms of it is the absolute weapon. It can destroy anything with a code phrase that only 051 has access to. And with this, he does in fact destroy the kingdom of Abaddon, which was located in Sudan. And then, seconds later, another flash of light appears, and the man that was standing next to him, one Frederick Williams, is also vaporized.
Whoa.
Yeah. And with that, we have a schism in the Foundation. We read a general notice, all personnel, redacted by overseer orders, issued from Foundation Central Command. Subject line, Administrator Williams. Foundation Administrator R.D. Williams has been murdered. A general warrant has been sent for the capture of his killer and his killer's accomplices. We have multiple redacted doctors' names, as well as one agent. These individuals are believed to be armed and highly dangerous, and may possess a number of dangerous, anomalous items. If you have information regarding the location of these individuals, please report directly to your site director. A transitory council of administrators has been created, consisting of senior staff members from the Omega-5 research team by order of the late administrator. This council will oversee Foundation operations until such a time as a new governor can be established. So, 051 and a number of the other 05 council of the time broke off and just left the Foundation. That's how I'm going to leave it for now. There clearly more happened. I'm not done talking. But that's how we're going to leave it at the moment. 8 of them in total were left alive. 8 of them left, leaving 5 to reestablish what was left of the 05 Council and bringing the numbers back up to a total of 13. All of this was, of course, released, big air quotes, by 0513 as he gets some real creepy fucking messages. This sort of thing, the children, as it's called in Proposal 1, this weapon kind of set the precedent, in my mind, of the ends justify the means. They killed thousands of people to try and accomplish this. This was at a time when the Foundation was not what it is today. It was always on a back foot, especially with the Kingdom of Abaddon, the Children of the Broken God, the Global Occult Coalition. All of the different groups that we've talked about were a lot stronger and a lot more well-funded than the Foundation at the time. And this kind of set up well, if we have to do it, but it helps everyone, I think it's worth it. And just seeing the hesitation from the Foundation is not something I expected to really be reading in this first proposal. And it's saying that they're humanized here is maybe not the best, but it's close. The parting message of this entry is left, as I said, to 0513. And it reads, 13. When we were young, You asked me if I thought that our dreams would ever be realized. If we would ever be able to keep the world truly safe and hang it up for good. You asked me if I thought that we had the means to do so, or if the means existed at all. You asked me to what lengths we must go, what prices we must pay, what allegiances we must forge in order to achieve perfection. I did not know then, I do know now. There will come a day when the secrets that the Foundation has tried to hide away will rise up from the shifting sands in glorious appearance, when the subjugated will break free from the bonds of their captors, and when the march of progress will no longer be impeded by those who would huddle around their fires, swatting at the ever-growing shadows. On that day, the Foundation will be cast aside, and all that will remain is purpose. Do you hear the black moon howling, 13? You will soon. Viva la insurrection. And that is proposal, or part 1 of this proposal. Any questions? That was a lot. Even for an SCP, that's a lot of things to just drop.
So people started dying because they were able to make one of the weapons that we covered in an episode super strong, right?
No. This is fully from this proposal.
Okay, this is entirely new. This doesn't have anything to do with,
yes.
I think it's the Gate Guardian that I'm thinking of. Nothing with that.
He'll be coming up later.
Okay. Not there yet.
But, and an important clarification on what you said, people did not come up dead. People were murdered. It was a clear choice.
Like vaporized, but it was from them using the weapon.
Correct.
And they can do it from far away, right?
A seemingly endless range, or, like 12,000 kilometers, and like that's just the furthest test that they needed to do, not necessarily the length of how far it can go. But yes, it does not. Item 001 does not act on its own. It only acts when the order is given and a specific word is given that is never outlined at any point in this story. But it is something that only 051 had access to. And with that, he killed his boss, the administrator, after presumably accomplishing the goal that they had set out to do, which was destroying the kingdom of Abaddon. So we're already starting off on an interesting foot of what the fuck is happening here.
Certainly.
And with that, we're going to move on to part 2, The Broken God. Now, we have not talked much about the Church of the Broken God, because everything I needed to talk about was pretty self-contained within this story. There is obviously a lot more about the Church of the Broken God. It's one of the main antagonists in the SCP universe. But we go through in this proposal, and we hear of many different, basically, accounts of some real fuck shit happening, believe it or not. That's going to be coming up a lot. Parishioners, I'm going to call them, cult members, you could also call them, to the Church of the Broken God, found different parts. And all of these parts of the Broken God, they're basically self-powering mechanical structures. They're looking for different parts. They're different body parts, brain, heart, things like that. And at one point, basically a ticking box washes up on the beach. And it is brought to the Church of the Broken God. And this is, we are told, the heart of the Broken God. And it consumes. Pieces of the Broken God consume. They take in new metal and mechanical parts, and they add on, and they make more and more of itself, expanding and expanding and expanding. And very funny to me specifically. I'm gonna drop you a quick picture. The caption on it is image taken from the Church of the Broken God information repository, believed to be an early incarnation of SCP-001. It's just a big gear. I'm probably cutting this out of the recording, but like that's so funny that it's just they just found a fucking picture of a gear. It was like, this is
it. This
the
is
broken
001.
God. This is him, and that's so fucking funny to me. Oh fuck. Anyways, we hear at one point here, there are many different interviews that we see throughout this one that make us question what the broken God is and how it is operating. We hear that the heart that was found is not what it claims to be. There is a claim from one of the members of the church that this heart is actually made by certain high up members of the church. And the interviewer basically says, why would you do this? Like, is it furthering your own means? Why would it not? This seems very strange. And the man being interviewed basically agrees with him and says, yes, this is wrong. This is not what we have intended. One of our members went too far and attempted to basically play God on his own. And you cannot create parts of a god on your own. Things are not going to come up correctly. This will not go well. And even though the founders and the heads of the church are really trying to press this, it simply isn't, it's not reacting as it should. There's a phone call between the, at the time, current head of the Church of the Broken God and one of his agents, and he's just asking questions of, how is the little Lord? As they have basically been feeding one of the parts of the broken God, the one that they themselves created in an attempt to bring about their own doomsday rapture, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And basically they're saying, oh yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger, where like it's things are getting tough, the foundation's closing in on us, and we cannot satiate it. The agent says, our God is ravenous. We cannot seem to satiate him. The supplies we are given are not. And then he's cut off, in the head of the church says, fucking figure your shit out, or I'll send someone else to figure it out. Clearly just not paying any attention to him. And then after that, we get an escalation report. So you know how the Gulf of California exists?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it didn't.
So the Gulf of California is the area between Mexico and the peninsula of Baja California, right?
Yes. Yes, it is. So I'm going to drop you another image, a map this time.
Okay.
This is a before and after the SCP-001 Apotheosis event.
Okay, so basically what it's saying is that prior to 1943, there was no Gulf there, and it was just a landmass.
Completed landmass, yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And after that time, there was suddenly a Gulf of California there. And we go through in the rest of this proposal as we hear about the Foundation and the Global Occult Coalition or what it would have been back then. They were known as the AOI. I don't remember, Allied Occult Initiative instead of the Global Occult Initiative at the time. They are the ones that are said to have neutralized this threat. And what this threat is a writhing mass of machinery that is the size of the Gulf of California.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why this was an apotheosis event. This was something so bad that everyone got together and said, oh, this is going to end the world, without a doubt. And the thing that they were able to get to stop it, I still don't super understand, to be perfectly honest, but it seems that the the big swirly spot on Jupiter, that's like a big, we theorize it in our real world to be a big superstorm that is constantly raging
Right.
In the gas giant. Yeah, so that parted ways for a bit and blasted this thing, what would in theory be considered the broken god. And it completely destroyed it, as well as the Gulf of or what is now the Gulf of California, killing, as it says, estimated no fewer than 2 million people, that's died across the world after, in the following decades, of just remnants of everything else. So this is the first time we're talking about an end of the world event within the SCP universe, brought about by the Church of the Broken God.
Okay.
And we then go on. I must have missed something, because there's this bit where 4 mechanical people are seen being formed from the beginnings of this god. And I'm not sure where they tie into the rest of the story still. I must have missed it somewhere, or missed a reference or something. But big super weapon in Jupiter as well. So we got 2 big super weapons going on right now. And all of the parts that remained from this now dead piece of God, basically. Anything that was not like, you'd see like Ford, like they would take pieces of cars. You would see like real, actual like brand logos. But a good majority of them also said property of the factory, which nobody knew what the fuck that was at all. And in an interview later with a previous, who was it here? Just a previously unknown sect of the Broken God, he goes through and basically says, he more specifically says, let me set the record straight. The GOC did not kill Yahweh, as they may so proudly proclaim. And that was not the Broken God they destroyed. It was a piece of it, surely, but would you show me a camshaft and call it a car? Oh, so you have some parts put together. An engine, perhaps, but not a car. God is much simpler than that. God is everything, from the biggest star to the smallest particle. Each tiny part's completely insignificant on their own, doing whatever it is they're meant to do. Meshing together, gnashing at each other, all part of a cosmic machine. He goes on to talk as well, but just outlining that, yeah, you think you did the thing, sure, but why do you think we call him the Broken God? He again says a little bit further down, and you may ask me, why is it called the Broken God? There are a few possible answers. Something as simple as a translation issue, reinterpretations made physical by the devout. Is broken simply a poor translation of some more nuanced word? Was God a being that broke in the Big Bang? If so, why did it break? And what will happen if it is repaired? And this goes on. Now, this is the part of the story. While I do not think it is purely propaganda, I think this is clearly something that happened as the Gulf of California exists. I think that this part, personally, is just maybe not a red herring, but it's something pulled to the side that detracts purposefully from the rest of this. Because as I've said, all of these, or I should say both of these so far, as well as when we've talked about the Gate Guardian in the past, are SCP-001, or Item 001 in the case of the children. I think that this one, especially when you take into account we have in the documentation, like, mimetic kill agents neutralized, I think this one is meant to be more open. I think it's meant to be the known thing. Like, the rest of the things we're going to talk about, I believe, personally, are hidden from anyone that isn't the O5 Council. I think the fight with the broken god, basically, as we've already described the way that they killed the Kingdom of Abaddon, I believe this is the forward-facing story that is told by the SCP Foundation, the Global Occult Coalition. I think this is the thing that they go, oh yeah, 001? Yeah, it's the broken god. We killed him. We already dealt with that. Don't worry about it anymore. That's my take on it. That's not outlined anywhere in particular.
Okay. You think that it's included in this as sort of like a
purposeful propaganda.
It's the knobs.
It's the knobs. It's certainly the knobs. This also it takes place during World War II, which, like, Jesus, somehow makes World War II worse. It also outlines that Roosevelt, like President Roosevelt, knew about and, like, maybe had some say in things about this, which makes me wonder whether or not all presidents are aware of the Foundation, or if this scenario was so bad that, like, world leaders were also brought into it, which I think is probably the more realistic answer.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, it makes me think of, like, hey, like, how many presidents and, like, how much of the U.S. government knows about the Foundation? Because, I mean, as we've outlined when we talked about the O5 Council, 056 is just, like, a high-ranking U.S. military official.
Right.
Like, a one that isn't known to the public, but, like, he is inexorably tied with the U.S. military. So, like, it's not insane to think that all presidents would know about it to some degree. Probably in, like, you know, a very shady, oh, some fuck shit happened. Oh, this is our side branch of X branch of military or the government or, yeah, exactly. That, like, kind of pulls that together.
Or whatever the fuck it's called.
Exactly. It's not super crucial to the rest of the story, but I think it does kind of a little bit aid into my theory that, like, this whole part of it is just propaganda of, like, look, even the president knows, so they're not gonna fucking look into our shit anymore. We just help. Shut the fuck up. Let us do our thing. So, like, that kind of a vibe to it.
So Frankie D. Roosevelt sees Baja California get absolutely fucking nuked.
Yeah, from Jupiter, as a laser opens up on Jupiter and just roasts, I don't even know how many fucking miles of coastline that is. Or not coastline, a fucking mountain range, whatever it was, as it was completely consumed by a writhing mass of metal. Wacky fucking shit.
Part 3, Atonement.
Yep. So this one was confusing. It's cool, but I like that the first 3 parts could stand as their own proposal, which I think is the point as well. This one is also, of course, being designated SCP-001. I think, again, this clearly shows, I will say, that many things within the Foundation are labeled 001. I would say clearly as a deterrent to find out what the true 001 is, if you even want to say that there is a true one. I think it's very easy to say that there isn't a true SCP-001, as much as saying there is one that is being hidden specifically and is buried under layers and layers and layers of different, basically, not even false, because they're all true. All of these things happened,
Right.
but like, they're just like, hey, oh yeah, you found it. Oh, it wasn't that one. Oh no, it wasn't the super weapon. It was the broken god. Oh, you're right. It wasn't the broken god. It's this thing that we're about to talk about next. I think both of those are equally valid answers to the question. So, this version of SCP-001 is an very well, what I interpret as basically an SCP-fueled super collider, as we would see in CERN, Switzerland, in the CERN facility, as they are trying to create and maintain a small singularity. And then,
a super collider is
I don't
something
know if
that
that's what it
throws two
does.
molecules
Yeah.
together, right?
Yes. One of the things in my very limited notes that I said is I don't know enough about physics to talk about if any of this actually, like, even kind of a little bit makes sense. Like, obviously it's SCP. It doesn't have to actually make sense, but like, I don't know. I don't know enough about physics to know if this is theoretically possible. I vaguely know what the singularity is. Not really. And I think it's related to technology as well. And I like mentioned in The Broken God.
Right.
But they're going through, and OSHA would have a fucking field day because there's one of the arms of this big fucking machine to create the singularity that is slightly down. And where is his name? Dr. Calvin Desmet goes, oh yeah, let me hop in there real quick. I'm gonna go fix it for everyone. And as that happens, it was spooling up, and he went, I have plenty of time to fix this, and more errors happened. Which is why I said OSHA would have a fucking field day with this shadow government. And the thing fully spooled up with a breach in containment, obviously, as one of the arms was down. And he was pulled basically into a full fucking gravitational well and was completely fucking destroyed. And it destroyed the entirety, pretty much, of Area 11, which is where it was. And, they go back and it's still the SCP Foundation. They're going to go back and fix it. They went, we're not done. We did the thing. We did the thing we wanted to do technically. We made the singularity, which just wasn't contained. So they go back and they completely reassemble it and get it going again. And after another test, they do it. They contain a singularity. And then it talks to them. Which,
of course,
that's not great. You don't want the singularity talking to you. I'm going to read at least part of this audio log. We'll see if I read the whole thing. And it starts. Begin audio log. Dr. Ramsey, he's the main researcher at the repaired facility. And he says, just the microphone. Can it hear me? And there is some muffled humming coming from SCP-001. And he responds, wait, what was that? Can you hear that? Listen. And it responds in not words, but just metallic ringings that resonate, and people can understand it through this. And it says, Johannes Ramsey? You know my name?
Yes. Johannes Barton Ramsey. You are a doctor. The SCP Foundation. Containment. Is he being contained? He can't see. He's the array. This is the... Oh, Jesus.
I don't know how to pronounce that either. Russian location name.
Pietrkow Fontaine. He knows this place.
Have you been here before?
No. There is no I, only he. Someone else. A man. I think I was him, or he is me. He was here once, and then he wasn't.
Dr. Ramsey, murmuring off microphone. Jesus Christ, is that Desmet?
Who? Yes, Desmet. Calvin. His name was Calvin.
Unfortunately, there is no way for us to...
This machine, deactivate it. There's something he needs to do. He needs to see,
What are you?
A way to distinguish between two like things. He needs an overseers, all of them. Bring them here.
That's against protocol, and...
No, they will come for this. He has something to offer them.
What's that?
A way out.
So here we have what may or may not be Calvin Desmet, the researcher who died in the previous accident, now bonded with something else. As I said, a singularity is being contained within this foundation, and it can only be viewed as a coalescing of dust in particulate matter that absorbs light, and when light is put onto it, you can see almost in what would then be the absence of light, the shape of just basically the silhouette of a man. And we go through, and the overseers, all of them, the entire O5 council, comes and speaks with SCP-001. And the out that he offers, he basically says that the root of what causes anomalies is simply entropy. There are multiple universes in our world, however you would define that. I don't know how to properly say it. And every SCP is basically a fraying in the edges, a tearing in the fabric of reality that is leaking into each other. And what we find out from SCP-001 here is that he has a way to stop it. They go through a bunch of calculations, and they basically figure out we have like 60 years until basically the entire fucking universe implodes on itself, because entropy has gone so far that there will be no more boundaries between universes or dimensions, however you want to define it. And he says, you power down these reactors, and I will destroy them all. I will leave nothing but this universe alive. And here is another part where we see the entire O5 Council. There's an entire discussion between them where about half of the, or slightly more than half of them, say, this is the only option. Our researchers as well have been able to, he says, we drew data from dozens of tests that we realized none of the people that can basically see into the future are vaguely see into the future. There are no predictions past 2066, implying that the singularity is correct, and that by that time, the entire universe will be completely destroyed. And to save themselves, they must destroy what is in theory every alternate reality that exists, condemning untold billions to death. which we have here. This is going to be between 052 and 1. It still means the end to so many lives. It's too many to even comprehend. A number without limit. 051. A number without us. There's a silence. And 053 comes back with, we pledged ourselves to maintain normalcy and to protect our world. This world. The affairs of other worlds are their own. We would expect any other Overseer Council to act in the same way, in the interest of their universe. This, all of this, the science, the militarism, everything, all of it is to accomplish a single, unreachable goal. Keep the monsters tucked out of sight. Now we find it, even that might not be enough. That the end of days is coming for us anyways. But we're given an option. If we do nothing, every universe dies screaming. If we take this action, every universe dies screaming, but ours. Once it's over, it's over. Everything we've struggled for, everyone who has died to protect our world would be validated. Is the end of our road not worth this? Is protecting ourselves from the doomsday to come not worth this? And then there is a vote for the utilization of SCP-001 to stave off the end of the world. And 05's 3, 4, 12, 11, 10, 5, and 6 agree. Leaving 9, 2, 7, and 8 to disagree. 0513 abstains, and that will make more sense in a little bit when I talk about him more. So it passes, and the last thing to say here before I describe the outcomes of this is 051 saying, I knew Calvin Desmond years ago, in a different life. He wasn't recruited by the Foundation, he volunteered. He was a part of a team contracted by the insurgency to run trails on new technology they were developing at the time. But he had a young daughter that was killed by SCP-106 when it breached containment during transit in 1975, years before we had developed functional containment procedures for it. And after all that, he sought us out. He never said much about it, but you could tell. If that's him in there, and he had found a way to remove every trace of the anomalous from our universe, no matter the cost, he would do it. I know he would do it. I can hear it in his voice. So from here, we go on to see a couple of tests. They bring out a small hand mirror. SCP number doesn't matter. It's about to be destroyed. They lower basically the restrictions and give the singularity SCP-001 more control over the universe, basically. How it works, again, with a very low knowledge of physics and not knowing how deep of a knowledge of physics DJKAKTUS has. It's not a reality warping entity in the same way that other reality warpers in the Foundation have been discovered. It works purely through modifying gravity. Basically, I don't know what that fucking experiment is where you drop a ball on a flat plane and it shows gravity. I don't know what the fuck that is. He's fucking with gravity so hard that he's rewriting the rules of the universe. Is in theory what is being kind of outlined here with my very limited knowledge of physics. So they destroy this mirror as like kind of their proof of concept, and then they go, okay, do it. Destroy all of these other universes. And as it does that, we see a number of members of the O5 Council get completely fucking destroyed. As it says, 051 collapses in on himself, folding and distorting down into a single point that hangs in the air for a moment and then disappears. So he is simply fucking ripped out of existence, as a number of the others are as well. This goes on, and we hear now from 053. This is, if you're looking for it, at the bottom of it, just above the footnotes. There's the note from 053 under the Tritium protocol, and more information will come to you as I receive it. That's a link. Yeah.
Should I be clicking the more information?
Click the more information.
Okay. Oh boy, here we go.
What we have here, you see where this story became more than I fucking thought it was gonna be.
It should, yeah.
And more than I bargained for. In here, we go through, and it has the background on Calvin Desmet a little bit on like what happened and what he experienced during this fundamental shift of the entire universe as he became a singularity and big air quotes, because I'm about to say destroyed all other universes. We see the same conversation play out as the O5 Council goes through before their vote. But before they can, numerous versions of 051 appear in the boardroom with them. One of them saying, "I'm sorry," his voice slowly trembling. "I'm sorry. It said that if I came here and if I told you, it would spare my life. It would spare," and then 053 fucking kills him. But many, he doesn't kill him yet. He kills a bunch of other fucking people. He says, "Don't you see? Don't you get it? You can't contain him. You just put off the inevitable. He told me that my world would be spared, that I would be spared if I could just convince," and he kills a bunch of people. But clearly what we see is that this entity is fucking lying to them, like for sure lying to them, and does not destroy all realities. What he does do is a little bit unclear, because in this second vote it still passes, and everything's kind of destroyed. 053 kills 4 of the members of the council on his own for voting against using 001 to save their universe.
Right.
And he then basically takes control of this, and he is set to maintain it basically forever. The AI that is the one that's actually like doing the calculations to make sure he doesn't break out after maybe ending all alternate universes, but also definitely not, because this story still continues. He says, "Hey, what do I have to do? Like, how do I fix this?" 053 says. And the AI goes, "Well, just talk to it." And that's like the only thing that it has to offer. One of the funniest parts of this this little story here is 053 barks out a laugh. "You want me to talk to it? That's my best option?" "Yes." 053 stands up, still laughing. "You were worth the research dollars, Netzak. Honestly, that comment alone is worth every penny." He grabs his coat. "How about this? You watch Dr. Desmet. I'm going to go get a drink, and when I come back, I'll go down there and talk to the Dark Body. It'll almost certainly mean both of our deaths, but it was only a matter of time anyways, wasn't it?" And we're kind of just left there a little bit. He says, "That night I saw God. That night God wanted me to shoot 059, and by the sound of it tonight, God wants to talk to me. So hold down the fort. I'll be back shortly to speak to him. Does that sound all right to you?" And the AI gives a very AI response to that. of I am unable to provide a sufficiently psychologically useful response, to which 053 smiles and walks out of the door. That's what I thought. So they maybe accomplish their goal, maybe not, and are just kind of left here to pick up the pieces of killing 4 of his fucking council members and having a bunch of them die as well, as none of this makes any sense to him anymore, basically.
And this, dear listeners, will be the first official part 1 we have ever done on this podcast. I clearly did not understand the scale of this project, and Tyler and I recorded for nearly 5 hours. Please be expecting parts 2 and possibly 3 to be coming up soon for your listening pleasure. And as I am recording this on my own right now, I hope you have a great rest of your week, weekend, day, whenever you happen to be listening to this part of the Bad Tutors podcast. And we hope to catch you on the next episode.